So Niccolò is one of the special guests of If Italian Festival that this year is focused on human intelligence. Intelligent creativity is the title of your speech.
That's right, yeah.
Can you please explain us why, in your opinion, AI could support creative agencies?
That's more obvious, how to manage media, because there's a lot of machine learning you can apply to how you target people, how do you pick up signals and learn certain things about how to deliver messages. What I'm going to talk about tonight is more about how AI can augment creativity. So as a creative practitioner, there are certain ways that I think that I can use AI as a tool to be a better creative. So that's what I'm going to talk about.
And what about Publicis? We have talked about a lot about Marcel, and how is the platform and also data and technology supporting and enhancing creativity?
Right. So one of the things that we're trying to create with Marcel is a mini version of what happened when the web happened. So if you have a look at innovation and creativity since the advent of the web, there's an exponential curve going upwards. And the reason is that innovation and creativity is enhanced when different ways of thinking are connected. And the web is the largest connected community in the world, and it stands to reason that there's going to be more things, there are more ideas combined to create new things. So that's what happened, right? If you apply that to our industry, I think we need an internal version of that. Because one of the things about the advertising industry is because it's based on these closed teams, which is something I'm trying to change a little bit, is that typically they're not very connected. The art director and copywriter are very connected, and then there's a loose affiliation of other creative disciplines, but typically they aren't connected in a profound way. So what an internal platform that intelligently connects people will make sure that we have more innovation, more creativity. That's the plan. Yes, and what my feeling is that in 10 years' time, or 5 years' time even, it won't even be something we talk about. It'll just be really obvious that everyone will have it. So,
and can you give us some examples of campaigns or case history driven by data and technology?
Yeah, I guess I could. I mean, there's in my time at RGA, we did a lot of work. A lot of platforms that were services, right, like Nike Plus or Fuel Band and things like that. And up until then, the data that we got about the customers for Nike was based on collecting it in a pretty old-fashioned way. And so we had ways to figure out, what people's habits were that were analog. We knew what they bought, right, on websites and stuff. But what was interesting about that platform was that once they were connected to Nike Plus, we also knew when they ran, how far they ran. And so all of a sudden we could communicate with them at the right times, not as a service as opposed to so that's an example of where it's not just data in, it's also data out and data back in, and it creates this virtuous circle.
You joined the Publicis Groupe at the beginning of the year, so can you explain us your creative vision for Publicis?
Well, I think there's a few things. For the group, I think it's important that the big pieces are connected in ways that create interesting things. So an example would be, what's the connection between a big communications agency and Sapient? What's the connection between all the things at Digitas? When is media connected to Sapient, connected to Saatchi & Saatchi? So there are moments where this full stack of capabilities need to intersect and create things. And then there's the brands themselves need to become broader and more connected internally also. So the thing I've been talking about today is the fact that the art director, the copywriter team should just be a spoke on a wheel of capabilities, right? And the ability to curate teams based on the problem, not just giving it to the creative team, the same brief to the same creative team, or different briefs to the same creative team. That era should be over. We need to be more flexible. We need to understand that we need different creative capabilities combined in different ways to create better work. So how you structure that internally at an agency is very important, because it's really a structure issue. It's not enough to want to do it. You need to build your capabilities around that.
So in every market you are working for this. Can you imagine?
Well, especially in the Australian market, not really. Yeah. I mean, I will start in a few discrete places, and then hopefully it'll work out from there.
Thank you to Nicolo for DV Express, Serena Piazzi.